Gentleman from Iowa is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the gentleman from Virginia, Chairman Goodlatte, for yielding. And there are a lot of people in this Congress that I appreciate a great deal tonight. But I listened to the anger and the fury over on the other side, and I've never seen the Sergeant at Arms had to come and clear the floor like we've seen here tonight. And I'm wondering, what is this about? And I would take this back to the State of the Union address when I watched the President of the United States here from the rostrum speak, and he said essentially the summary of what he has delivered to America a number of times. Congress, I'm going to tell you what to do, and if you don't do it, I'm going to use either my cell phone or my ink pen, and I'm going to do it. And here it goes again, Mr. Speaker. And what I saw was this, that our founding fathers set up this balance in our Constitution between the three branches of government. Article 1, 2, and 3, the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch of government. And they drew as fine a lines as they could between the three, but they always knew that there would be a gray area. And they anticipated that each branch of government would jealously protect the constitutional authority that's vested within the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. But when the President said, I'm going to usurp your legislative authority, I'm going to take over Article 1, and I'm going to legislate if you don't do what I tell you, what happened? The people that are applauding now applauded then, and they said, Mr. President, take the power that's in the Constitution, take it from me, take Article 1, 2, take your pen, take your cell phone, you run this country as if you were a king, rather than only the President of the United States. And Mr. Speaker, that's what this debate is about here. This is about the DACA language that the President has introduced 2+ years ago. And I said then, when we had hearings before the Judiciary Committee and Janet Napolitano, I said, we will take you to court on this. This will be litigated. It'll be litigated because the President does not have legislative authority. He's only the President of the United States. If the President wants to somehow grant amnesty to one person, he has some prosecutorial discretion to do that. But they argued in the Morton memos, and they argued in the DACA memos, 7 times in the Morton memos, on an individual basis only, prosecutorial discretion on an individual basis only. And they put it in there 7 times because they knew they were wrong. They knew it was going to be litigated. You don't do 700,000 people on an individual basis only. You don't suspend the law. If the President wants the law changed, he knows, come to Congress, ask us. And ask us. And when you take an oath to uphold the Constitution, you better believe that it means what it says. And why would you just throw your authority over the side and say, Mr. President, take this from us? That's not what you pledge to your constituents. That's not the oath that you take. So this is what this says, is that the DACA language here says this: Mr. President, stop violating the Constitution from this point forward. As the chairman said, it does not deport anybody. It just restores constitutional Article 1 authority.
Mr. Speaker, I yield the gentleman an additional 30 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the gentleman from Virginia. This just restores the constitutional authority of the United States Congress, and it says, President Obama, don't continue to violate this Constitution. President Obama, when you waved your ink pen at us a week and a half ago and you said you're going to legalize 5 to 6 million people, it's unconstitutional. He knows it. He's many times given the lecture that he knows it, and he gave his word, and he needs to keep it. And we want to remind him, it won't go cheap if you try this, Mr. President. I urge the adoption of this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.